Some voices are given. Some voices are built in a studio, under pressure, sometimes against the singer's own will.
That makes it happen.
Willie Mitchell told a superstar his voice sounded like somebody else's and made him drive around the parking lot crying before he'd sing it right. A drummer picked up a microphone by accident and became the sexiest baritone in soul. These are the 10 voices that got reinvented on tape and changed R&B forever. Stay to the end because the story behind number 1 will change how you hear that song forever.
Get up! Get up! Get up!
Welcome back to Soul Letters, where we don't just play the record, we open the letter behind it. Tonight's countdown, 10 legends of the 1970s who didn't just sing a hit, they had to become someone new to record it. Number 10, Minnie Riperton, Lovin' You. Minnie Riperton was trained for opera, not soul.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
A Chicago vocal coach named Marion Jeffrey spent years drilling her on breath control and range most classical purists considered unmusical past a certain point, the 7th octave.
The colors that you bring.
Nobody thought that training belonged on a pop record. Then, in 1974, Stevie Wonder, recording under the joke alias El Toro Negro,
Loving you has made
produced her album Perfect Angel and helped shape a lullaby she'd written to soothe her toddler daughter, Maya. That toddler grew up to be Maya Rudolph of Saturday Night Live.
while we grow old and we will.
The song was Lovin' You. Riperton's label almost buried it as a deep cut. They didn't believe in it as a single. It took months before they released it, as the 4th try.
Live each day in springtime.
When they finally did, that operatic whistle register, the same technique later credited as Mariah Carey's direct influence,
I see your soul come shining through.
carried Lovin' You to number 1 in over 20 countries. A discarded lullaby became one of the most sampled vocal performances in R&B history. Number 9, Isaac Hayes, theme from Shaft. Isaac Hayes didn't sound like anybody else in soul music, and that was the problem.
Who's your black private dick?
Stax Records didn't know what to do with a baritone who talked as much as he sang, over stretched out cinematic grooves that ran 10 minutes or more.
Damn right.
Then in 1971, director Gordon Parks needed a score for a new film about a Harlem private detective. Hayes didn't just write a theme, he became the voice of the character. Deep, cool, spoken word swagger over wah-wah guitar and hi-hat.
Who is a man that would risk his neck for brother man?
Theme from Shaft reinvented what a soul record could sound like. Funk, dialogue, and orchestra fused into one. It hit number 1 on the pop charts, sold over 1 million copies, and made Isaac Hayes the first black composer to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
He's a complicated man, and no one
He walked on stage at the Oscars in gold chains, not shame, a soul singer standing where no one like him had stood before.
come out when that's what you're all about.
That single theme song rewired what film music and black masculinity on record were allowed to sound like. Number 8, Chaka Khan, Tell Me Something Good. Chaka Khan was the raw, funk rock voice of a Chicago band, and in 1974, Stevie Wonder dropped by their studio session with a gift, an unreleased song called Come and Get This Stuff.
You ain't got no kind. I got something that'll show.
19 years old and pregnant at the time, Khan turned to one of the biggest names in music and simply said, I don't like it. What else you got?
All your pride aside.
Wonder didn't flinch. He asked for her astrological sign. When she said Aries, he sat down at the keyboard and played a nasty, wah-wah clavinet riff on the spot.
Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it, yeah.
The birth of Tell Me Something Good? Khan didn't just sing the song straight either. Wonder coached her through the phrasing himself, pushing her toward a tougher, more aggressive delivery than the smooth soul singers around her were using.
Your problem is you
reinventing her voice as something rawer, funkier, almost rock and roll. The song hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100,
Tell me that you love me.
won a Grammy, and made Khan's voice so central to the group's identity that the label renamed the band Rufus, featuring Chaka Khan. A Rejection turned into the record that launched a legend. Number 7, Donna Summer, Love to Love You Baby. Before 1975, disco songs were mostly about the beat. Donna Summer, an American singer working in Germany, changed that with her voice alone, turning breath, whisper, and moan into the actual instrument of a song. Producer Giorgio Moroder built a hypnotic, synthesizer-driven groove and asked Summer to improvise a vocal as if she were simply in the moment. What she gave him became a nearly 17-minute single, built almost entirely around her sighs and murmurs. Radio stations initially refused to play it. It was considered too intimate for daytime airwaves. That controversy only fueled the fire. Clubs adopted it as an anthem, and it climbed into the Billboard Top 5 anyway. Summer had reinvented her voice as pure sensation over lyric, proving a vocalist's breathing pattern could define a genre. It set the template for the entire sound of dance music's biggest decade. Number 6, Barry White, You're the First, the Last, My Everything. Barry White wasn't known for the bass baritone growl the world remembers. Session engineers in the early 70s actually mic'd him differently once they realized how deep and resonant his speaking voice sat compared to his singing range. Working behind the scenes as a producer for the girl group Love Unlimited, White noticed audiences reacted more to his deep-spoken interludes than to the polished vocals around them, so he leaned all the way into it.
Your love I'll keep forevermore. You're the first, you're the last, my everything.
Barely singing at all on some tracks, just speaking, low and slow, over lush strings. That instinct produced You're the First, the Last, My Everything.
Can't you see it, you make me feel this way.
In 1974, a song built on White's rumbling low register, riding over a galloping disco funk arrangement.
The day I die, really, you're my reality.
It shot to number 1 on the R&B chart and into the pop top 2. White had essentially invented a new archetype in soul music, the deep-voiced maestro of love,
You're the first, you're the last,
an entire subgenre of slow jam seduction music traces its DNA straight back to that one bass note. Number 5, Teddy Pendergrass. If you don't know me by now, Teddy Pendergrass started his career sitting behind the band, not in front of it. He was the drummer for a Philadelphia group called the Cadillacs.
Now, baby, I know the difference.
Harold Melvin, leader of the struggling vocal group The Blue Notes, recruited him purely to keep the beat. During a performance, Pendergrass began singing along without being asked.
When I come home a little late at night,
Melvin heard something in that raw, raspy baritone and made an instant decision: pull him from behind the drum kit and put him out front as lead vocalist.
you know, don't you get excited. But something went wrong. I can't tell you what it was.
Producers Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff built 1972's If You Don't Know Me By Now, specifically around that voice,
Start to lose. 'Cause it out of everything.
comparing his tone to the Dells' Marvin Jr. The song hit number 3 on the pop chart, sold over 1 million copies, and made Teddy Pendergrass an overnight sex symbol.
More think about it, I think you're about to lose your mind.
A drummer who was never meant to touch a microphone ended up defining the sound of Philly soul's biggest ballads, and later launched one of the most successful solo careers of the decade.
Get up! Get up! Get up! You need to stop usually don't. I don't care. You don't like it.
Before a devastating 1982 car accident changed his life forever. Number 4. Al Green, Let's Stay Together. Al Green spent the late 60s imitating other men's voices.
So in love with you.
Otis Redding's shout, Sam Cooke's polish, Wilson Pickett's grit. Producer Willie Mitchell kept stopping the tape. "That's not you," he told him, session after session, for over 100 hours.
Ooh, loving you forever.
Frustrated and furious, Green stormed out of Royal Studios in Memphis and drove circles around the parking lot to cool off.
Let's stay together.
When he came back inside, something had shifted. He stopped trying to shout and let his voice go soft, breathy, almost whispered.
Where the times are good or bad. And happy or sad. Why?
That vulnerable half-falsetto tone became Let's Stay Together in 1972, recorded by Mitchell's own account, in front of a room of neighborhood men gathered off the street just to give Green a real audience to sing to.
I wanna love you wild,
The song hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, became Green's only pop chart topper, and was later preserved by the Library of Congress as culturally significant. Al Green had to stop performing like everyone else before he ever sounded like himself. Number 3, Stevie Wonder, Superstition. By 1971, Stevie Wonder was barely 21 and already a Motown veteran, but he wanted total creative control the label wouldn't give him. He walked away, renegotiated his contract, and started experimenting with a keyboard nobody in soul music had fully explored, the clavinet. He built Superstition almost entirely alone in the studio, layering drums, keys, and vocals himself, chasing a funkier, punchier vocal attack than his earlier ballads ever used. The song was originally written as a gift for guitarist Jeff Beck. Motown heard the demo and insisted Wonder release it himself instead. In 1972, Superstition became his first number 1 pop hit in years, reintroducing him not as a polished Motown boy wonder, but as a self-produced funk innovator. That single Reinvention, trading sweetness for grit, and a band arrangement for total self-reliance, set up the run of classic albums that would define Stevie Wonder's entire decade. Number 2, Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Michael Jackson spent his childhood singing lead for the Jackson 5 in a voice built for bubblegum soul, sweet, high, and undeniably a kid's voice. By the late 1970s, that voice was changing, and so was he. Working with producer Quincy Jones on the film The Wiz, Jackson found a mentor willing to push him past the Motown formula entirely. Together, they began shaping something new for his solo album: sharper rhythms, disco funk grooves, and a vocal delivery that finally sounded like a grown man. The result was 1979's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Jackson's first solo number 1 as an adult artist. Complete with his own whispered ad-libs and gasping vocal runs that became his signature. That one song marked the exact moment Michael Jackson stopped being the Jackson 5's lead singer and became a solo force capable of carrying an entire era of music on his own voice. Number 1, Aretha Franklin, Rock Steady. By 1971, Aretha Franklin was already the Queen of Soul, crowned by respect, worshipped for church-rooted power ballads. But the woman behind the throne wanted something rawer than the string-laden hits Atlantic kept building around her. Working with drummer Bernard Purdie, Franklin heard him lock into a funky, low, almost reggae-tinged downbeat during a session and grabbed a pen on the spot.
While you're moving rocksteady, won't call the song exactly what it is. What it is. Fucking Lord, I'm feeling.
This time, she wasn't just the voice, she wrote every word herself. The result was Rocksteady, built from the ground up on Franklin's own composition. Propelled by Purdie's breakbeat and a guttural, church-born growl she pulled straight from her father's Detroit pulpit. A sound bigger and funkier than anything she'd been given by outside songwriters before. The song hit the top 10, and its break has been sampled by artists from Epimin to Scritti Politti ever since. Aretha Franklin didn't just perform a reinvention, she authored it, proving the Queen of Soul could outfunk the whole genre on her own terms. That's the countdown. 10 voices, 10 reinventions, 1 decade that changed music forever. If tonight's letter moved you, subscribe to Soul Letters, because the next story is already waiting to be opened.